Let's talk about designing balloons by the foot. There are tons of options that we can do, and we can use a lot of the things in the framing backdrop section. And sometimes people just want to have a small balloon garland, say, over a window. And so I'll just make this roughly, you know, and you can do multiple windows. So I can just copy this. Maybe you have a set of windows, right? Whatever you want, right? And this is just something that no client will think is real or being delivered. They'll understand, okay, this is going over my windows and here's how I can stage it. So I will just, these are always adding to the screen in 11 inches. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll do a simple garland. And I'll do this pretty quickly. So I'll just copy this a few times. And I will rotate it, and I'll just start to build my design. And you can put it in different shapes, right? It doesn't have to be, it can be a wave, it can be just a curved arch across the top, lots of options, right? Do the same with a new color. As many colors that are added to the screen are what the client can change. And so I will duplicate this a few times too. And just add the other colors as I go. So I like to have more colors on the screen just because it gives me more flexibility when I create items that I'm going to add to the collaboration mode. If I want to send something to a client, right, I have just more flexibility. It's always fun to play with depth a little bit. I'll send this one to the back. And then let's see. You can always move these around a little bit. I'll move the whole thing down. I'll play with size a little bit too. So these are all 11 inches, right? This is not something that most clients would pick, but it's like our base. Okay, so I will just do a chunky garland like that, and then I'll actually right click on a few of these. So I'm just right clicking, and I'm going to make this a large one. And so I'll just do this in a few key spots where I would want to make one bigger. And I'll pull this one, I'll bring this one to the front and make it a large. bring that one to the front as well. Okay, now that's kind of fun. And now obviously there's no real detailing on here. I might even offer something like this just to show clients what it looks like at this price point. So I'll save that. And this is probably, let's see, 15 feet of garland. So I'll tag it. I'll put it to the balloons by the foot in our style. I would say that this is in 2 sizes. So I'll call this least expensive 15 feet. And it's saving here. And then I'll duplicate it. And so now I'm into the range of the things that I actually want people to book. So I'm going to go with some small balloon clusters. So I'll do these small ones like this. I'll size them down. I'll do a few of these. Put one this way. I usually connect it to the same color, so that's just my style. And I want to fill some of these holes. And I will just make a chain like this. And that gives it a more round shape. I'll group it. I will reduce it down. And I'm going to curve it this way. I'll duplicate it. Now it's starting to look interesting. I'll just do some small little clusters of 4. Size it down. Okay, and I'll actually even add some really large ones. So I'll do an extra large there. Maybe make this an extra large. Okay, now that's starting to look more organic in my style. So I like that. It's saved. I'll go back and tag it. And it has my previous tags from the first iteration. It's 15 feet, but I'm going to make this premium now because I'm doing a lot more detailing. So it changes the size of the per number of feet. Oh. And that's saved on its own. And I'll call this simple. I'll call this luxury. And I'll call this garland over windows. And the number of feet will show up on the digital storefront on the front end. So you don't need to worry about that. The number of feet you typed in shows. And then I can also just create another iteration of this. So if I want to just duplicate it again, I can play with it where I can split this off. I'm just going to delete some stuff that I don't want in there because it's just looking too cluttered and not how I would actually make it. I'm going to place this here and I'm going to actually bring it to front. I can pull it down here. Now this is definitely like a more rounded shape, right? And I'll just get rid of some of this, put it more into just move these one by one. And now I've got more of a nice rounded shape. It might be a little bit smaller, but it's still achieving a similar look. And I think I'll make this one a large. And it kind of rounds up the shape a little bit more. Make the whole thing come up a little bit. Oh, what's that? Okay, I'll save it. Tag it. I think this is closer to 13 feet. And it's more premium. Oh, this saved the least expensive. I moved too quickly there. I'm just going to adjust that. Okay, least expensive, premium, premium. And I'll call this organic, and I'll call this arch. And there you go. There's a lot of ways to just create this really quickly, and I'll just show you for a couple examples. You can borrow some ideas. I have one down here just for the doorway. So it's always fun to play with shape, pattern, things like that. So in this example, I have just an organic styled door, right, on a single side. You can also use accent clusters, right? And so you'll see that I've used one color. And so the client will change these as a different color. So it's an accent color there. Or they can have a more really full look like this. And I can also play with the shape of this. I can, do it different ways. And there's all kinds of ways to style it, but definitely play with different colors too. And one more example of just like a dummy door prop type of thing would be if you wanted to decorate a hotel room, you could do something like that, where you have helium balloons over a bed, or maybe you wanted to offer, a number bouquet beside the bed, but you can go nuts with all the details that you can add to this. So use fake props. No one will think that you're delivering a bed, right? I hope this was helpful.